So in this video we are going to see static members of a class. What are the different static members present inside the class? So first we are going to see static variables in function. Then we are going to see static variables in a class. And then we are going to see static functions in a class. So first is static members of C++ class. We can define class members static using the static keyword. So static is a keyword that is used to declare the static members inside the class. When we declare a member of a class as a static, it means no matter how many objects of the class are created, there is only one copy of the static member is present. So instead of having multiple copies of the variable, once you make it static, only one copy is available to all the objects, and all the objects can access that copy. A static member is shared by all the objects of the class, means whatever static member is present is accessible to all the objects of the class. All static data is initialized to 0 when the first object is created, if no other initialization is present. If you are not initialized the static data members, they are automatically initialized to 0. We can't put it in the class definition, but it can be initialized outside the class as done in the following example by redeclaring the static variable using the scope resolution operator to identify which class it belongs to. Static keyword has different meaning when used with different types. We can use static keyword with static variables, and we can use for the static members of a class. So what is static variable? A variable in a function or variable inside a class, it is called as static variable. What is a static member? A class, objects and functions in a class is called as static members. So you can make the variable as a static inside the class, as well as the variable declared in the function, you can make it as a static variable. As well, you can make the object as a static, as well as we can make the function as a static. So we are going to see it one by one. So first is static variable in a function. So suppose this is the function add, and you are mentioning a variable as a static inside it. Suppose static integer I, that variables become a static variable. So when a variable is declared as static, space for it gets allocated for the lifetime of the program. So this variable is available till your program ends. Even if the function is called multiple times, space for the static variable is allocated only once, and the value of the variable in the previous call gets carried through the next function call. So this is useful for implementing coroutines in C and C++ or any other application where previous state of function needs to be stored. So I am going to explain this with the help of example. So we have declared one function as a demo, and here it is, we have mentioned a variable count as a static variable here. How to declare it? Just mention static keyword before the variable and its type, static integer count. So this is the way to declare the static variable, and initially we have initialized it to 0. So this is the way to declare the static variable inside the function. Then we are going to print the value of count over here by using the cout statement, and the value is updated and will be carried to the next function calls by using this statement count plus plus. So we are incrementing the value of count variable. So this is the function. This is the function void demo, which consists one integer variable count of type static, and one statement count plus plus, which will increment the value of count, which is initialized it to 0. So in the main, we are going to call this function 5 times by using the for loop. So we have called this demo function with the help of for loop for integer I is equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus, and return 0. So what do you think, what will be the output of this code? The output of the code once you call first time this demo, the memory is allocated to the count and it is initialized to 0, and this count content of count variable will be printed, that is 0, and then it will increment the value of count, it becomes 1. So suppose this is your count variable in memory. Initially it is initialized to 0 at the first call of the demo, and then it will print the value 0. Now for next iteration of the for loop, again demo function will be called and the value is incremented automatically by using the statement count plus plus 0 to it becomes 1, and again at that time value of count will be 1. Keep in mind over here this count is initialized only once, though we have called it second time. Already in the first call the value of count is initialized to 0. So to second time again count is incremented, now it becomes updated, it becomes 2, it's not 1 now, it's 2 now. So again this for loop is incremented and it will call demo, again value of count will be 2. Likewise the output of the program is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is the way you have declared the static variable inside the function. So next is static variable inside the class. So as the variables declared as a static and initialized only once, as they are allocated space in separate static storage, so the static variables in a class are shared by the objects. There cannot be of multiple copies of the same static variable for different objects. Also, because of this reason, static variables cannot be initialized using the constructors. You can't use constructor to initialize the static variables. So we are going to see this with the help of example. This is our class ABC. Inside this class ABC, we have our public members declared as integer I, and this is our static variable, static integer I, and it constructor we have just kept it empty. This is not semicolon over here. here it is, we have entered the class ABC. So this is the way to declare the static variable inside the class using the static integer I. Now we are going to initialize the value for this variable I. So how to initialize the variable I which is present in the class? So this is the way. Integer ABC semicolon, you have to use the semicolon, you have to use the class name ABC semicolon, and I is equal to 1. So this is the way to initialize the member variable of class which is of type static. Now in the main we have created the object of class ABC, and then we have called this variable object dot I. Now it will print the value, that is 1. So this is the output, and this is the simple code which demonstrate how to declare static variable inside the class and how to initialize that static variable outside the class, and how to use it as per your logic. So next is static functions in a class. Just like static data members or static variables inside the class, static functions, member functions, also does not depend on the object of the class. We are allowed to invoke a static member functions using the object and the dot operator, but it is recommended to invoke the static members using the class name and the scope resolution operator. The class name is used and scope resolution operator is used to call the static function. So static member functions are allowed to access only the static data members or other static member functions. They can't access the non-static members, data members, or member functions of the class. So this is we are going to see with the help of simple code. We have declared this ABC class. In the public, we have one function that is print message. Okay, and we have declared it as a static function. How to make it? Just append static keyword before the signature of the function, that is static void print message. This print message becomes a static function. Keep in mind, in static function you can access only the static variables. You can't access non-static variables inside the static function. So here it is, we have just mentioned one output statement, welcome to ABC. So in this is our class ABC, and we have closed it, and we have only one print message function of type static. Now inside the main we are invoking the static member function. So how to invoke? This is the way. ABC is the name of the class, scope resolution operator, that is double colon, and then name of the function, that is print message, at the end semicolon. So this is the way to call the static function. What will be the output of this code? Simply, when you say ABC semicolon print message, compiler will automatically call this method, and whatever present in the method will be executed. So it will print the message, welcome to ABC. So this is the way to declare the static function inside the class. And one rule is that in static function you can access only the static member variables. Non-static member variables you can't access inside the static function.